fuel. So to do this, I'm using SimBrief. There's a whole bunch of tools you guys can use online just to help you figure out how much fuel you need for your flight. You don't just put it into Google and you're gonna find exactly what you need. So for this flight, they tell us we need about 13,000 pounds of fuel. So we'll go to the fuel and payload page and set about 13,000 pounds. You could, update this after too, and we are gonna manage it in the EFB after. But I'll do that once we're in the plane, because sometimes even if you set it up here, you have to recheck it when you're in the plane, because the game doesn't always do it as expected. So yeah, just make sure. We're gonna recheck in the plane, but at least we set it up here for now. So we've got the A320 set. So today we're gonna be flying. Our flight is from this airport, which I forgot. Yeah, Cologne. There it is in Germany. I always like to start at a gate, make it a little bit more realistic. So you just find a gate, gate C1, ramp, gate small. Usually I like a gate medium, but I think gate small is still gonna fit for the 320, so that's fine. And our arrival is Rennes. I think it's Rennes in France, so we're going to LFRN in France. That should be Saint-Jacques-Rennes. There we go. Alright, so there we go. So right now we are nighttime, so I like to fly during the day, so I'm going to go ahead and set up my flight conditions how I want now. So alright, so we set up our airports up there, but now we do have to set it up in the EFB and flight plan. So we go to flight planner. Yeah, there we go. Alright, so now we can click through the EFB here. So it looks like they already have some kind of flight plan for us, but that's just a VFR flight plan, so we're going to set it for real now. So there we go. Cologne, runway 14 left. So the departure. So we're going to change our departure. Sometimes these flight planning apps are going to give you a departure, sometimes they won't. So I have an NVO 2 Papa departure. It doesn't look like there's any departures here, so we're just gonna do a direct departure here, because we and press change procedure. What I'm gonna do here now is look at the winds at the airport, weather, runways here. So yeah, it looks like the recommended runway for departure is 24, so I don't know why they put us on 14 right. So we're gonna switch that up and put runway 24 for departure, and we're gonna add that departure and do the NVO to Delta. I think that's going to be good for us. Yeah, there we go. So that's bringing us right to the west towards France, which is where we want to go. And we're going to switch to IFR. And then I go straight to the arrival. So I don't think we have any arrivals in Rennes. Yeah, so that's as expected. No arrivals, so we're just going direct. And approach, so they do have an ILS approach, so that's cool. So we're going to choose ILS runway 28, so it's a nice long approach. And I do have a transition here of Sampo, so we're going to set Sampo transition. There we go. So Sampo is all the way up here, and we're going to turn. We're going to brief that later, no worries guys. So we're going to brief that. So we set our departure and arrival, and now we just have to set everything in the middle. I do have an alternate airport. You don't really have to set an alternate airport, guys, but might as well since I have it on my flight plan here, which is LFRS. Nalt. There we go. So that's our alternate airport set. And we do just want, so now we have our departure, our arrival, but we have nothing in the middle here. So my flight plan does have all the waypoints, but honestly guys, instead of doing add waypoint and setting in each waypoint, you could just press find and you're gonna get a nice looking flight plan here. But if you do want to do it as your flight plan says, you just have to go add waypoint and add each waypoint on your flight plan. But for this video we're just gonna press find, and that's about it for flight planning. And then don't forget to send to ATC and avionics. What's up guys? So at this point I did forget to mention to set up your cruising flight level, so your altitude for your flight. I do realize this later on in the plane and I show you guys how to do it, but this would be the time to set up your flight level and cruising altitude. Sorry about that, I forgot it. Let's get back to the flight. Payload and fuel, Again, we set it up earlier, and we're gonna do it in the game again just in case it resets navlog and the chart. So this is, I do want to do a briefing. So we set up our flight plan. Now we just have to brief a little bit of what's going to happen. So our SID for runway 24 is the NVO departure. So we're going to go ahead and look what we are planned for. So runway 24 is actually perfect, guys, because we're departing already towards the west. You know, if we were departing runway 6, we'd be having to come here and do a whole turn, but it looks good. We're just departing, then making a little right turn, it looks like. So departing, heading 241, then heading 263 at or above 3,000 feet. So that's at above 3,000 feet at DME 6.1 from KBO and distance 13.5 from NVO. So they're just telling you that at this point you want to be at or above 3,000. We're going to be way above that, climbing out with the 320. This plane climbs nice and quickly. And then we're going to the NVO waypoint, which is Nowhere Venich waypoint here. And that's pretty much pretty simple looking. Here it says max 250. We don't really have a speed restriction, but we're still going to respect that. Max 250. So that looks like our briefing for departure for the landing here. Go to the clip charts. ILS runway 28. So we had the Sampo transition. So it looks like we want to be Sampo flight level 70, so 7,000 feet at Sampo. Making this turn on a 15 DME arc. And then we're going to be coming in here, intercepting localizer glide slope, and coming in for the ILS runway I forgot which one it was, 28 I think. Yeah, runway 2, yeah, there it is, runway 28. And if ever we need to go around, climbing out to 281 on the heading, at or above 1,000 feet, we can start our turn and max 220 knots coming back towards the airport. Alright, cool. So pretty simple departure and arrival. So that's our briefing done. Now let's get in the plane and get flying.